All right, folks, so this last week we talked a little bit about lateral movement. Doing a short breakdown on that now. So what we're talking about with our lateral stepping is how we can realign to our opponent when they move sideways, right? We're not fighting on a straight line like we do in fencing. We're moving around to tatami. But we can also use this step to move at an angle where they can't as easily defend, or we can move off angle as they attack to provide ourselves a closer or more effective opening, right? So one thing that often happens when we do this is we're not really thinking about where our opponent is in a real match, okay? So we want to try to create an imaginary opponent for ourselves and move as if that opponent's in front of us. Keep that opponent locked in our memory, locked in our mind and our imagination so that we hit the right place every time we're practicing good movement. One easy way to do that is just take a pillow, something you got around your house, put it in your house in a space where you can move easily, and you're going to use that as your opponent, okay? So the easiest step that we can talk about is stepping to the right or stepping to the left, just doing a slide in either of those directions. We're not going to cross our feet. We're going to use whichever direction we're going, we're going to use that foot. So if I'm going to the right, I move my right foot first, and then my left. If I move to the left foot first, and then my right. If I was following my opponent, maybe my opponent's moving that direction, I can just realign really easily with that. I want to make sure every time that I move, I'm hitting my stance. So you can start out with just practicing moving, hitting your stance, moving, hitting your stance, and doing it quickly, maybe 2 or 3 times either direction to make sure you can hit that stance every single time. Going back to this ball and where we can move around our opponent, we're thinking about a circumference, a circle around our opponent, and kind of what the distance is. So you could even draw on the ground a number of circles that you want to hit for your distancing, okay? For me, I can just think about where my hands are going right over the top of the ball, okay? So maybe my feet even right over the top of the ball, okay? Now if I move to my right, I'm not going to go straight. I'm going to move my foot around the outside of the circle, align my front foot with my target to the outside of my target, and strike, okay? And I can do this with either my kizami, or my gyakuzuki, or my round kick, any of those things. If I'm going the opposite direction, same idea. 1, 2, or 1, 2, or 1 kick, whichever way, okay? And you can just move around that circumference. This is a great practice. You just start from your stance. You're moving around, 1, 2, and then you move around that circle again, 1, 2. Okay, so those are some good drills with that ball. Then, as you want to start moving around, maybe a little bit, you've got a bit more space. Now we can think about that same idea, but we're going to use a forward step before we go sideways. Okay, so we're not just going to go 1, 2. We're going to go forwards and immediately sideways, or forwards and immediately sideways. And we can do the same going back, side, or back side, and immediately hitting our stance. And the way you can practice immediately hitting your stance is making sure that once you get there, you can attack instantaneously. So you're not there I am, boom, punch. Not so much. 1, bam, right away. All right? So those are some basic stuff to practice. First,